Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel today. Glad you can make it because we got a lot of stuff to talk about in this video today. As you guys know, I like to do my quarterly update on the best Zetas, the very best Zetas in Star Wars Galaxy Spheres, and you guys like them so much. However, every single time I make a Zeta video, I always feel like I'm leaving so many great Zetas out. So guys, I've learned to count past my 10 fingers as well as my 10 toes. I got 10 last time I checked, and we're going to be doing not 10, not 20, but the top 30 best Zetas in Star Wars Galaxy Spheres. So a lot of stuff to cover. So guys, let's get right into it, and let me know down below if you like having this many Zetas to choose from on a quarterly basis. So let's pop up number 30 through number 20 on the screen right now, and you're gonna see there are a couple of interesting Zetas already on this list that are popping out. Obviously, at the time of this video, we're hitting May right now. There's a huge movement towards Clone Wars content, and we just got a couple of Galactic Republic reworks for Kenobi, Anakin, and Ahsoka Tano, who's gonna be on our entry list for this Zeta. I don't want to rank her too high because Galactic Republic is just starting to become important, but because Galactic Republic is increasing in its viability and Padme Amidala is right around the corner, I can only imagine that this daring Padawan Zeta has a lot of future potential, and right now already, this already does have potential with the Galactic Republic for various PvP things and even the Sith raid. And Padme Amidala being a legendary character, I can only assume she's going to drastically change the Galactic Republic faction and probably have a leadership ability. And as you see with Daring Padawan, if there's a Galactic Republic leader, anytime a Galactic Republic is going to use a special ability, Ahsoka is going to assist. And when you see what her assist ability can do, besides good damage, it's going to dispel all buffs on the target enemy. So it's a buff dispel in the basic, which is great. And then you're going to dispel all debuffs on a critical hit for a random Galactic Republic ally. So tons of buff dispels and tons of cleansing on a basic. And if you have a full Galactic Republic team, this can probably be a lot of great stuff for the future. But I don't want to rank it too high because it's mostly speculation. But as of now, it is a great Zeta to start getting the Galactic Republic going. Speaking of Clone Wars content, let's talk about General Grievous a little bit. Yes, obviously the rework was released at the worst possible time with Jedi Knight Revan reigning supreme. But if you can get over the fact that Grievous at this moment is not top tier meta, you will realize that Grievous is kind of in between the B plus teams and under and the meta teams. He's in between this unique spot, and because of that, I really want to recommend to you guys Metalloid Monstrosity, because this right here is more important than his leadership ability, and this lets him reset his cooldowns anytime you're taking out separatist or droid allies, and he can keep spamming massive amounts of damage on the other team. And I've shown some cute little things that Metalloid Monstrosity can do. So this right here is really good if you want to try to get a separatist or a droid team going. It's not too hard to recommend this, especially at number 29. I think it's a great spot right now, and the developer said Grievous's time is coming, so who knows? This might be important for the Padme Legendary, or Grievous's team might become more important in the future potentially. Regardless, right now it's a decent Zeta to look into if you're trying to make some use out of Grievous and Separatists. Chewbacca, he's a cornerstone staple to the Commander Luke Skywalker team. You're going to see a lot of Commander Luke Skywalker team Zetas on this list because they're one of the best teams in the game. And right here with Loyal Friend, because of Loyal Friend, anytime you're damaging an enemy, Chewbacca and the guarded allies, you're going to recover a ton of health and a ton of protection, which mainly means Commander Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, the two biggest damage dealers on the team. You want them to survive as long as possible. So Loyal Friend on Chewbacca is definitely a great Zeta that fits in this 30 to 20 ranking. We got Asajj Ventress and her Rampage unique ability. This right here is one of the best Zetas for the Sith raid right now because of all the minions dying off, and even Knights, when they're dropping like flies, you're going to supercharge all of these extra bonuses for Asajj Ventress, and this could become increasingly annoying, especially when you're doing other events even outside of the Sith raid. And then of course we got characters like Yoda and his battle meditation, which is a cornerstone for the Jedi right now, and all those lovely buffs that he spreads around into Foresight. You can't go wrong with that. And then our list starts to wind down close to the 20s with characters such as BB-8 as well as General Veers and Kylo Ren, and these three characters are Zetas that transform their faction entirely. BB-8, once you have Jedi Training Rey, this Zeta is so valuable and pretty much transforms the Resistance into getting so much more damage simply by one Zeta, especially for the Sith raid. You can't go wrong with BB-8, and kind of the same thing, a little bit different, but General Veers as well as Kylo Ren, when you give them the Zeta on General Veers is unique, aggressive tactician, you're transforming the Imperial Trooper faction to something it is not, and it turns into a turn meter trained madman with Imperial Troopers, and this is great for a lot of raid-based things, territory battles, things where you take out a lot of minions, and this Zeta right here is the biggest counter to a Night Sister team. So we're just getting started there. A lot of great Zetas already, and we're just kind of scratching the surface right now. Now I want to talk about the Zetas from number 19 19 going up to 11, and here you're going to start seeing a lot of big name Zetas, and the first one that really kind of pops to mind, and one that I highly regret never getting around to, and I don't know when I'll get to it. Mother Talzin is one of those characters, and her Zeta, the Great Mother, that the revive mechanism, oh, it is just absolutely fantastic, and I've just been sidetracked way too many times, and I don't know when I'll get around to it, but Zetas like this are great for PvP-oriented things. The Night Sisters do great sometimes up against Jedi teams out there, annoying for Territory Wars, Grand Arena, and again, has a lot of use in the raids and whatnot. And I know some of you guys are shaking, oh my goodness, Jedi Knight Revan not in the top 10. Don't worry, hold your horses, people. A lot of Jedi Knight Revan Zetas, and you're gonna see a lot of Jedi Knight Revan, but Direct Focus is a great Zeta, but you don't necessarily need it if you want to start just using your Jedi Knight Revan teams, but it's a Zeta you eventually want to add because of all these nasty things it does to the target enemy by stunning them and also increasing cooldowns, adding buff immunity. You can't go wrong with the Zeta, but if you only have a few Zetas and you want to just get the right ones to get them jump started, there are other more important Zetas than Jedi Knight Revan, but I want to make sure I put this on this list because all the Jedi Knight Revan Zetas are just super important. Bossk is just one of those Zetas, kind of like Mother Talzin and Kylo Ren and some of the other ones we're going to see here. You cannot go wrong with On the Hunt. There are so many key Zetas that transform a faction, and On the Hunt is one of the most important Zetas in the game, I'd have to argue, because Bounty Hunters are one of the most important factions used for a variety of things and legendary events, and they're pretty dominant for Territory Wars and Grand Arena type of thing. Now, Sith Empire is running rampant in Galaxy of Heroes right now, and we're going to see a lot of Sith Empire Zetas, but the first Sith Empire Zeta showing up on this list, I think, of course, specific rankings might vary person to person. Gnawing Terror. Now, this is, again, an important Zeta, but not mandatory to get Darth Malak up and running. But once you have that spare Zeta and you have that Malak in your inventory, which is something still kind of new for a lot of people, this shuts down so many teams. Commander Luke Skywalker can beat Darth Malak up until he gets the Gnawing Terror Zeta. These next three Zetas I'm going to list right now are some of my absolute favorite Zetas. And this one right here that you saw earlier, Han Solo at number 13, shoots first. Again, a Zeta that has stood the test of time. Being able to attack a second time, yes, a little bit less damage, is so important, especially when you consider all the other characters that have been added to the Rebel faction, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and all the stuff they do. Han Solo attacking twice, it was already a great Zeta before, but because of C-3PO allowing Rebels to apply Expose, that means Han Solo can follow up on his first shot that applied Expose, hit him again, and then keep in mind Chewbacca is going to be called to assist using his basics. So there's a lot of stuff going on there between C-3PO, Chewbacca, and Han Solo, and this is one of the key reasons why Rebels can remain pretty competitive, and they're probably a top 5 team in the game right now because of Han Solo's shoot first and the characters Chewbacca and C-3PO just fueling so much to make Han Solo's basic attack do some crazy amounts of damage when you combine the exposes and all the assists going on. The next Zeta that I can't stress enough about, I made a video talking about some of the top 10 best Zetas to start off if you're looking for your first Zeta investment. Bastila Shan, I can't remember where I ranked her, but I'm pretty sure it was very high, and her initiative leader ability. Now, unless you're spending money, you won't get Jedi Knight Revan really early if you're a new player, but you can get Bastila Shan early, and Bastila Shan and her leadership Zeta right here, which adds taunt for tank allies, and also 150% tenacity when you have protection up. This is the best Jedi leader, or possibly the best leader ability in the game until you start accessing those higher tier legendary and hero's journey characters, and this is a severe counter to characters like Emperor Palpatine, which is going to be on our list as well, as we're going to talk about right now. And another side note, Bastila Shan and that Zeta, again, until you get Jedi Knight Revan, it's also fantastic for Sith raid runs such as Phase 2. That you just can't go wrong with initiative on Bastila Shan. And when you're doing 3v3s and stuff like that in Grand Arena, you have one Jedi Knight Revan team and one Bastila Shan team. So it's a great Zeta for a lot of circumstances. Oh, Emperor Palpatine. Yes, he went through a terrible demise with the release of Darth Malak, preventing Sith Terminator. Basically, Malak just pulled the wheelchair out of Palpatine's butt, and he's still a great Zeta regardless of the Darth Malak stuff, especially going up against Darth Revan teams without Darth Malak. Palpatine is the best counter for a non-Darth Malak Revan team, and just because of all this juicy Terminator that Sith and Empire allies get fed. Now, of course, the Zeta is mostly great because of Sith right now. Empire haven't really made the most out of this, but you can run a variety of excellent Sith teams, and a lot of people, kind of like the Bastila Shan Zeta we talked about a while ago, it's a great beginner Zeta, and there's a lot of great Sith in the game, and when you just combine them under Emperor Palpatine's lead, it is is a night and day difference, and it's a great Sith Zeta until you start getting other Zetas that we'll talk about in a few seconds now. All right, and now we're up to the top 10 Zetas for Galaxy of Heroes. A lot of the big name hitters, so much to talk about right now, but these Zetas right now pretty much define the competitive space for things like Arena and the Sith Raid, as well as things like Territory Wars and Grand Arena. A lot of great Zetas on this list right now. Let's start breaking down some of them real quick. Jedi Training Ray is going to be our number 10 Zeta on this list. You cannot go wrong with Inspirational Presence. It is fantastic for all the raids in the game. It does create some very competitive PvP things. We haven't seen Resistance be Arena competitive really for too long. It's a soft counter to Jedi Knight Revan, but it's fantastic for the Sith Raid, where she's the, I believe she has the highest damage dealing team for phase 1 of the Sith Raid, and she solos the AAT Raid. Commander Luke Skywalker is on this top 10 list twice, because Commander Luke Skywalker, first of all, he's probably the first Hero's Journey character you're going to unlock, and you're going to unlock a lot of big characters that pair beautifully with Commander Luke Skywalker. CLS, R2D2, C3PO, Han Solo, Chewbacca is a god tier, excellent team synergy team. So Rebel maneuvers, because of all these debuffs that C3PO is promoting and all the other debuffs that Rebels can apply now, a lot of Terminator being fed. Terminator is one of the most important aspects of Galaxy of Heroes at the moment, and then it binds all things. It's kind of like a mini leadership ability, because he's going to feed a lot of bonus Terminator to his allies. So when all these debuffs are being applied and Commander Luke is resisting and whatnot, or inflicts debuffs, he's feeding just so much Terminator to Rebels. And it's so important when you're combining Terminator and heavy damage from Rebels. This right here is why Rebels do so well, is because of these two Zetas from Commander Luke. And kind of like Commander Luke Skywalker, we got to talk about Darth Traya. She has two Zetas also in this top 10 list. She's occupying number 8 and number 7, with the most important Zeta, in my opinion, is going to be Lord of Betrayal. Kind of like a lot of these other Zetas I've mentioned. At one point, this is the most overpowered Zeta in the game, and it still has so much potential because it allows Sith to just cleanse themselves of debuffs every time they're taking a turn. So simple, and this is such a hard mechanic to work around, and only a select few teams can deal with Darth Traya. So this here I absolutely love. And then Compassion is weakness. Her leadership ability counters a lot of teams such as Resistance and other teams that like to attack out of turn, and it's a soft counter to Jedi Knight Revan. It was the only counter for a long time to Jedi Knight Revan, and it's because of this leadership ability right here. So although Traya might not be number 1 anymore, she's easily the 3rd or 4th best team in Galaxy of Heroes right now. Now, I had to rank the Zeta really high for Jolee. He has one of the most annoying abilities of all time. This is what broke Jedi Knight Revan, in my opinion, because it turns Jedi into Night Sisters. When you combine the fact that Jolee is super tanky, has high tenacity, he is just so hard to stop from calling all Jedis to be revived at 80% health with critical hit immunity for 5 turns. That is crazy. We don't have many effects that grant a buff for 5 turns. Darth Revan, and oddly enough, we did not put him at number 1 for the best Zetas in the game. He does have good Zetas, but they mostly benefit himself, but he is changing the course of the arena meta, so it's important to talk about mainly his Conqueror ability, because it mainly prevents him being defeated quite quickly, and that's important so he doesn't get marked by Jedi Knight Revan and destroyed in 2 seconds. And the other one is Lord of the Sith, and you basically don't want Sith Empire allies to be losing turn meter, especially against Commander Luke Skywalker and other teams that remove turn meter. Being able to prevent turn meter loss is a huge mechanic. Just like gaining turn meter is huge, preventing turn meter loss is also really important. But honestly, the best Zeta in Galaxy of Heroes by a long mile is the General Zeta leader ability for Jedi Knight Revan. This is just amazing for each and every game mode. Sith Raid, amazing. Territory Wars, amazing. AAT Raid, amazing. There's just, you can't go wrong with this, and this is the Zeta you need to make the most out of Jedi Knight Revan. And of course, Hero and Direct Focus are also great Zetas. I was a late bloomer for Jedi Knight Revan, and I regret not having him the first time around, so I can give these Zetas to him right away. Or I got sidetracked from General Grievous, and just, you can't go wrong with these Zetas. And Jedi Knight Revan, no matter what his viability is going to be in the immediate future, he is going to be one of the best characters that have stood the test of time. He has changed the game for better or worse. I'm thinking more for worse. So there you guys have it, the top 30 best Zetas in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Hopefully this was a good list to kind of give you an extensive amount of Zetas to consider that have just absolutely changed the space and galaxy of heroes. And as I said, these rankings could vary person to person, but I think by and large, these are the best Zetas. Like if you did enjoy this, and let me know if you do like having a 30 list versus a top 10 list. Every 3 months we do these videos, and comment down below on other Zetas you think people should consider that are good, maybe not top 30 quality. I know people read the comments and love to get some more ideas for Zetas. Like, comment down below, and subscribe so you're not missing a thing, guys. And we'll talk again very, very soon. Peace out, guys.
Party Richter, Party Richter. Down, 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 down. Party Richter, Party Richter. Son of a bitch. Party Richter, Party Richter. Down, down, down.